the acting CEO of SAFA, Tebogo Motlanthe. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it here on Newzroom Afrika. Firstly, let me say congratulations and welcome to the role. How are you feeling about being the new acting CEO of SAFA?
No, thanks for the congratulatory message. I am fine, just pushing because, I had to get into the office and start running few of the things. So, yeah, it has been quite a nice experience to this end.
I imagine that this has been a very difficult time for football, for sport, for football administrators, that coming in during the time of COVID-19 has probably been more difficult than many would have experienced in your past.
Yes, it has been quite difficult. First, you need to plan for the resumption of football. You need to check what the health authorities are saying, what the government is saying. It will be different as compared to the days where football was playing. You had minimal things to do, but now there is a lot to do. There is also a duty to check on the welfare of players. Are they good? Are they still healthy? And on the national team phase, the coaches sending them the exercises and what they need to follow during this difficult time.
We recently had the opportunity to speak to Dr. Danny O'Don, the president of SAFA, about the resumption of football. It's something that you bring up now, so let me try and repose the question to you as well. Now that a bit of time has passed, has there been any further clarity on the resumption of football? Europe seems to be leading the way with a lot of training resuming, a lot of matches taking place behind closed doors as well. Has there been further engagement with the government, with the Department of Health? Are we any closer to football in South Africa making a return?
We are meeting as the working group, which was established by the Joint Liaison Committee. And we are going to receive the documents from both doctors who have made research, and we're going to talk to those documents. And hopefully in 14 days, it will be clear as to when are we going to start playing football.
Do you have an idea as to what potential date that may be? So in 14 days, it'll be clearer. Are we looking at maybe a month, or is it based on levels of the national government's alert system?
No, currently we are not looking at the levels. Remember, when the JLC met, it was to come with a single voice for football to say when are we starting. The JLC is a SAFA committee, of course, which has a representative from the National Soccer League. So we met, we spoke, and we had a smaller group, which Joseph Ferreira from the Pubalan, Govinda Sami, who is the chairperson of legal, is also chairing that committee together with both doctors. Our duty is to get the documents which were presented to the meeting and get the medical advice. Then from there, go back to that committee within 14 days, present, and then we'll come with a single football position.
Okay. And Tebogo, tell me, I know that the role of acting CEO at SAFA of late has been a rather difficult one to fill, it seems. There have been 3 acting CEOs since 2018. From your perspective, do you have perhaps an idea as to why seemingly the role has been quite difficult to hold on to?
Well, I think, let me say, one, it was contractual matters. Of course, you had Mr. Russell Paul, who acted immediately after the departure of the then CEO, Mr. Dennis Mambo. Russell Paul got an offer outside the country, which was a big offer. He had to go. Then when the NEC decided that they want to advertise the position, they said they can't create a vacuum. Then you had Mr. Mkwena, who is the vice president, come into act. His contract then lapsed. Then we had thought that by now we should be having a permanent CEO. But then because of the COVID-19, the process stalled a bit. That's why now one had to step in so that we don't create a void. And I think after this COVID-15 has passed, we should do well. We should surely get a clear direction as to where we're going, and we should get a permanent CEO.
Is it a role that you are hoping to make permanent, or are you simply steadying the ship to get SAFA to that point?
Well, currently the mandate is to steady the ship, but should they say we want to put your name in the head, I'll do so, because I've been here, I know all these traits, but of course, we need to finalize the process and ensure that there is a permanent CEO.
You mentioned the name of Dennis Mumble, and it's a story that has certainly been making headlines. In fact, this past week, we spoke about the support that the NEC has offered, Danny or Don, maybe just from your perspective and from SAFA's perspective, just some reaction to what has been taking place in the headlines with regards to the accusations, the support behind Danny or Don. Where are we with SAFA there?
I think from the administrative point of view, we are not focusing on the past. We are focusing on a train which is moving. We're looking forward in achieving, because the former CEO had 2 years to raise the issues. And of course, the NEC, even though part of the provinces have already voiced their support for the president, we are saying this report by nature, as it's political, it needs the board of directors. So as soon as we have the NEC and the NEC pronounces on it, as administration we can pronounce. We cannot pronounce ahead of the NEC, but for us it's business as usual. We are moving forward. We are not looking backwards.
So any accusations like this, do you feel that they will, rock the boat a little bit? Will they cause any uneasiness among the SAFA NEC members?
Well, the allegations by nature will create those kind of issues, but I believe in the National Executive Committee that they will decisively process them and give us a direction. For that's why I'm saying for us, because as we are just the administrative wing, ours is to implement the policies, is to ensure that the association is afloat. I can tell you from the day I took over, being a person who knows most of the challenges, we have been moving. We are paying our different constituent groups, and I can assure you, SAFA is not collapsing anytime soon.
Okay. Speaking of collapsing, we certainly hope that SAFA will not collapse anytime soon. But we know that the longer their football is no longer on our screens and not taking place, the bigger the impact. And we spoke about potentially SAFA or football returning, I beg your pardon, in the near future. But what has the financial implication been on SAFA to not have league football taking place, to not have international matches taking place? What has the financial impact been for you?
The financial implication is huge. Remember that most of the sponsors are sponsoring different programs for the league. There are those which have already written to us and say, look, we are unable to give you the full amount because there is no football play. There are those who wrote and say we are looking at different options because we are not getting the mileage. And of course, it's a common cause that most businesses are struggling now. So there are those who say we need to sit down and talk and check how best can we continue with the relationship. It did affect us. We are not. We cannot say we were not affected by this COVID-19, and our business is hugely affected. As you